So this event, did anyone come to our Tennessee business event when we had it a few years ago? Probably not. I know you two did. Joel also did. Oh, Tim did. Look, Tim's in the back. So that was a really amazing event because, of course, it was also cold in the middle of January, but that was inside. And we realized, like, Homesteaders of America, we focus on homesteading. Sean and Beth Doherty have always said we love that you keep it homesteading related and not necessarily big farm related. But eventually a lot of homesteaders reach the point where they're like, you know what, I want to feed my community. I want to make money off of this. I don't want to do the 9-to-5 anymore. How do I make that happen? And so the HOA business event is for that purpose. So, today you're going to learn, Joel's going to talk about tapping into the retail dollar. Sean and Beth are going to talk about herd shares, which are extremely profitable. Of course, there's different laws in different states, so just keep that in mind. I'm sure they'll talk about that. Anna Scott's going to talk about creating an on-homestead profit. So she's really interesting. She's going to talk about hosting workshops on your homestead, teaching other people, blogging, social media, kind of the all-around aspect of different options for you. And then Janet Garman today, she's going to talk about scaling your homestead. So maybe you're really small, you want to scale up. Maybe you're larger, you want to scale down. Depending on your season of life, it's always going to change. And then tomorrow we're going to get into a little bit more breakdown details. So Daniel's going to talk about figuring out labor pricing. Sean and Beth, I love this talk. They gave this talk in Tennessee, is making a profit from your extras, which I think most of us are there right now. Like, we have extra garden produce. We have extra things what we're making. So how do you make a profit off of that stuff? Joel will end the day with margins, which was the most popular talk at our Tennessee event because he gets right into it, even though he's like, I'm not good at math. Let's try this. But important, though, tomorrow from 2 to 3:30, we have 2 different things going on. We've got the speaker Q&A in here, and then we've got the VIP farm tour with Daniel.
The incentive here for getting the retail dollar is several-fold. One is, I'm sure we've all heard, the middleman makes all the profits. You ever heard that? Well, if that's the case, I want to be one. If that's where the profits are, I want to be one. And anyone who begrudges what the middleman makes has not been a middleman. You start running trucks. You start marketing and trying to sell to people and break them out of their harried, hurried, frantic lifestyle and get them to stop at your farm stand, your farm market stand, your internet website, your whatever, right? It's not easy. You start refrigerating, canning, passing, getting HACCP plans to butcher to get a licensed production facility, whether it's dairy, beef, or making, vegetable pot pies or whatever. All these middleman things are expensive. They're difficult and they're expensive. And so rather than begrudging the middleman that element, well, let's join it. Let's join the middleman. Let's wear those hats. Let's wear those hats of the middleman so that we own more of that.
Okay. So we're looking at how can my farm, which is catching sunlight, turning it primarily into grass, and that grass can be converted by ruminants, how can I take from that big array of products, milk and the things milk can do for me, and make a farm share where I'm exporting small amounts, relatively, of a lot of products, small amounts of very high per unit price products to a few people, so that my guy who's been coming on the farm every week and I get $10 every week is suddenly a guy who's coming on my farm every week and I'm getting $100 a week. Or if my marketing is good and I've got my little farm store and I put all my surpluses, my extra tomatoes, my extra okra and whatever in there, 100 plus or 200 plus a week. And that's where the farm share comes in. And that's really like the heart of this talk, is to make this picture for you. Sunlight powered farm, here's how I can convert it. Here are the high dollar, high per unit price products that you can market sometimes using a herd share contract, but sometimes not. You can market directly to individuals. Absolutely true, as Joel says, it is a whole lot easier to hang on to and please one customer than attract 10. And if you can reduce your number of customers and increase their loyalty and their dependence on you in a good way, you can suddenly become a hub for a community of people who share a lot of your beliefs and values. That's why they're here and want this food. And you can do that and replace some or all of the part of your income you haven't already replaced by being good homesteaders.
There are a lot of people, regardless of the political standings, understands how corrupt the food system is, and they want better for their family. At the end of the day, those are your people as well. Maybe not your close people, but your people as well. So you've got to continue teaching, you've got to continue sharing in that sense. So newsletters, I'm going to talk about that now. Newsletters are longevity, meaning that those individuals will open up your newsletter. I have a 55% open rate. Do you know how crazy that is? 55%. The average open rate, which is considered good, is 30%.
I'm not trying to win over the Walmart shopper who wants the big heart yarn, okay? I don't have their product, and I'm not trying to get them to come to me because they have a different outlook on what they want to work with. So I had to define my message and make it clear. I don't have $5 bales of yarn, skeins of yarn. That's not what I'm making. And I don't want people coming to my table saying like, why is your yarn $25? Because sheep eat every day, and I've never seen an acrylic monster eat anything. So that's why my yarn costs $25.
So feed them slowly, feed them strategically, and feed them with those importance. So that means you have to think about what is important, right? And if you can't, again, exchange that information to someone watching your farm or to someone that you're bringing in, then you haven't fully articulated it to yourself, right? And what I mean by that is, this is a little bit of my labor talk when I'm talking about more hiring folks, and that is the first question that I always ask folks when they say, I want to hire someone, my first question is not, oh great, let's talk about it. It's why, right? Because why is the huge question. Are you hiring them because you're not efficient enough to do everything you need to do yet because you're spending 5 minutes closing the gate when you could spend 30 seconds, right? Are you spending too much time on something that's not valuable? Why are we actually trying to hire someone, right? And so we need to work through that process. That is incredibly important to go through as a business owner, as a farm manager, as a boss, as a leader, as a whatever, to decide, is this person, is adding someone to my operation the real weak link, right? And that's incredibly important because if you have articulated and worked through in your mind the mental hurdles of this is what I need to do and I'm doing it efficiently and I'm doing the first is, Stephen Covey's first things first, let's do the right things in order, etc. Let's do all those things. If those are all happening, then yeah, a person is great. Let's add somebody. That's awesome.
So let's talk a little bit about selling some of the extra things. First, there are some limitations to remember. We've talked about this. For farms to export without damaging their ecological foundations, we need to know the farm and know what it does well. So just be aware of that. For produce sales to work on the low input small farm, we need to limit how much of any one thing we sell. So we try and sell across a wide variety of things. We do diversity, and that's how we, again, in terms of income, we try and do things through diversity. Wendell Berry's grandfather's motto was, sell something every week. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Well, what have I got in my store that is extra that I could sell? Oh, that's an interesting thought to go through. Now, there are obvious examples of things that are extras. You're going to have extra green beans if you're growing green beans. You're going to have extra flowers. You're going to have extra orchard fruits, eggs sometimes, milk sometimes, meat maybe. Seeds, yes, nature generally is very abundant in seeds. Well, maybe I could sell some of those. Surplus livestock, certainly. If you cull animals, and again, what my wife does is she's looking at the grass in July, and she's saying, okay, it looks like we're going to have about this much grass. We've got to get rid of some of the animals. Okay, but one thing that we would also say is build relationship with things that you sell. So don't sell a animal. Any animal that you're selling off is obviously going to be your cull animal. You're not going to sell off your top animal. But be obvious about it. I mean, be transparent about it. Here are the problems with this animal. This is why we've selected this as our cull animal.
Margins. Oh boy. This is a big topic, because if you don't know your margins, you don't know if you're making money, losing money, you don't know if you're pricing enough, not pricing enough. It is the beginning of business success. So Daniel this morning, I'm going to be piggybacking a lot off of, wasn't he awesome? He's good, isn't he? I mean, so, yeah, he's a pretty good partner. I'm really proud of him. So he did the labor part. Now I'm going to add to the labor other things. So here's the deal. There are 3 ways to increase profit. 3 ways to increase profit. 1 is to decrease expenses. 2, increase your price. 3, assuming you have a positive margin, increase turnover. So you can make money at a very low margin if you have enough scale. That's the Tyson model, the Cargill model, the commodity, global. All right. But those are really the only 3 things you can do: decrease expenses, increase price, or increase turnover. Now, your business has 2 kinds of costs. And by the way, let me just say that Alan always told me every single person should have a business. You know why you should have a business? So you can enjoy your life in pre-tax dollars. Okay, I think it's 5. It is 5. It's actually about 3 minutes past. You know what, Amy, do you want to close this out? Or I can tell you all of us are just so thankful for your investment in the weekend, and I just feel great about the energy, and thank you, Amy, for providing such a wonderful format, yes, for us to all get together. And do we all feel encouraged? Do we feel inspired? Do we feel like we can go home and look at our situations and make progress, even if it's slow, and make progress? Yeah. So this is great. So now, may all of your carrots grow long and straight. May your radishes be large, but not pithy. May tomato blossom end rot affect your Monsanto neighbor's tomatoes. May the coyotes be struck blind at your pastured poultry. May all of your culinary experiments be delectably palatable. May the rain fall gently on your fields, the wind, oh, it's nice, hasn't it? Stop. The wind be always at your back, your children rise and call you blessed, and may we all make our farmsteads and our homesteads, our nest, a better place than we inherited. God bless you. Godspeed in your travels. Godspeed in your businesses and in your caress of your farms and your land. And let's all assemble again next time. Thank you. Come on.